Tomorrow, conservative speaker Ben Shapiro will be at USC protesting, and protesters in DPS are gearing up for the controversial visit.
I'm here at the USC Health Sciences campus where just behind me a protest is underway. We'll have more on that story coming up.
97% of the country got a test emergency alert from the president. We take a look at what sparked the national message.
Annenberg TV News is next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
Tonight, DPS and student groups are ready for conservative political commentator Ben Shapiro's USC visit. Good evening, I'm Taylor Elliott.
And I'm Colin Taylor. Shapiro will be speaking at Bovard Auditorium regarding free speech on college campuses.
To have him here isn't just having some ideological diversity or giving space to some marginalized voice. It is normalizing what he's saying as equally credible as someone that says no, racism is actually not okay. The idea of having a designated protest space as encouraging safety to me seems like it's encouraging suppression of speech, but I definitely don't think that upping the police presence, which is already extremely heavy on campus, or getting more LAPD involved or anything like that, is making a lot of students feel safer.
In a statement, the organization putting on the event says, quote, "Our organization welcomes peaceful protest outside the venue, however, will not stand for the violent disruptors. DPS is ready for the event."
We track social media, we look at the comments made by groups, we work with the LAPD, who have an intelligence unit, and we don't have any information that would lead us to believe there are any threats. We're going to designate areas on campus, Alumni Park, Founders Park, and hope to direct people who wish to protest to those two areas.
For DPS, protests are a warranted concern. Last year, hundreds of students at UCLA protested when Ben Shapiro spoke on their campus. There were no arrests. Keck Hospital is negotiating another contract with more than 1,000 employees. As Trevor Sahaki shows us, tensions are growing.
Lab coats, scrubs, and other uniforms filled the sidewalks on the USC Health Sciences campus today. With tacos in one hand and signs in the other, Keck Hospital workers and their kids picketed for better wages.
We have such a prestige college university that we work for. Why are we still applying for food stamps and Medi-Cal and cash aid?
The demonstrators also want cafeteria workers whose jobs have been outsourced to the Sodexo Corporation become fully employed by USC. They claim Sodexo pays only pennies above minimum wage.
We feel it's only fair and only necessary to bring us in as full-time employees of USC who can way more than afford to pay us the fair wages that we're entitled to.
In a statement to Annenberg Media, Sodexo said they have been negotiating in good faith and want to reach an agreement that is equitable for everyone. Keck Hospital was on that same page.
From an economic perspective, I feel our organization has worked hard to develop and bring about appropriate both bonus payment offering within this contract, as well as an opportunity to advance in steps upon ratification of the contract.
This isn't the first time some of the people behind me have been picketing. They've been protesting their contracts since 2011.
So the picketing and striking, it does help. We would not want it to go that far, but push our hands. We have to do what we have to do.
Hospital workers are prepared to strike by the end of October if they don't get what they want. For Annenberg Media, I'm Trevor Sahaki.
Screens across the country were blasted with the first ever presidential alert this morning. It was only a test. The alert is designed to warn the public in the event of a national emergency. FEMA estimates today's message hit 75% of U.S. cell phones. This alert is the first to be sent directly from the president's office. This is concerning to some people, but political science professor Bob Schrum says that's not the issue.
I wouldn't opt out of the alert because the truth is there may be times when it's necessary or useful. I just don't think the test today had any purpose other than political. It's a distraction from all the other stories that are going on, the Kavanaugh confirmation, the midterm elections.
An Annenberg Media Twitter poll found some students had mixed opinions.
I think it could be a very useful tool. I can see a lot of scenarios where I would want to know right away what's going on, but I've also never seen a tool like this been used before.
I can't really think of a situation where it would be really powerful or really helpful.
Congress has placed limits on when the president can issue this type of alert. It must relate to a natural disaster or man-made threat. Residents cannot opt out.
President Trump is reportedly considering banning Chinese students from studying in the U.S. over concerns about spying. This is according to a report in the Financial Times. The Times says President Trump advisor Stephen Miller tried to limit the visas of Chinese students earlier this year. Experts say such an action would harm colleges and have a negative economic impact.
I may lose some working opportunities here after my graduation, but it's okay because I can come back to China. But for some Chinese student who wants to study in their dream schools, they may lose their opportunities.
Out of about 60 students, I have literally one student who is not Chinese. It would have a very big impact. More than half of our staff would be cut because there just wouldn't be enough students.
According to the Institute for International Education, 1/3 of international students in the U.S. are Chinese. This year, USC has 2,515 Chinese students enrolled, the highest in its history. Chinese students also represent the largest group of international students on campus. In an email, USC officials told Annenberg Media the school will advocate for policies that promote international education and is proud of the many ways international students contribute to USC.
An LA Times journalist who has raised her daughter to speak 3 languages came to USC today to talk about how immigrants can be discriminated against for not speaking English. She told about her own experience on a public playground.
When that woman spoke to me that way, in what felt like an eternity to me, she totally cut me down. In that moment, I felt so tiny, and even though I was on my turf in this park that I've known all my life, I felt like a complete stranger in someone else's land.
A stranger at a park told Esmeralda Bermudez she could speak English to her daughter in English. Bermudez says it's not uncommon to be looked down on for Spanish speaking. A USC master's student says he's often treated differently because of the way he speaks.
I have been told that I have a heavy accent, that they can't understand me. Sometimes because of my accent, they're like, oh, like, are you a citizen or do you have your green card?
Bermudez said her 5-year-old daughter speaks English, Spanish, and Armenian and wants to learn more languages.
Higher gas prices versus safer road conditions is the debate around a proposition on the November ballot. Prop 6 would do away with the gas tax passed last year. Mayor Garcetti hosted an event in opposition to Proposition 6 this morning. The prop would repeal the gas tax that raises money for repairs on potholes, bridges, and roads. Those opposed to repealing it say Prop 6 jeopardizes our safety. Those in favor of the proposition say lower gas prices would make driving more affordable.
Gas prices are artificially inflated, and that if some relief could be given by a better manipulation of the tax system, I would be in favor of that.
Proposition 6 will be one of the 11 propositions for California voters in the election on November 6th.
The FBI is expected to send Congress a report on its investigation into Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. Meantime, many are reacting to President Trump's comments last night regarding Dr. Christine Blasey Ford's testimony.
How did you get home? I don't remember. How'd you get there? I don't remember. Where is the place? I don't remember. How many years ago was it? I don't know.
Dr. Ford accused Kavanaugh of sexually assaulting her when they were both in high school. Last week, the two testified in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee. Kavanaugh has denied the allegations. Many senators openly expressed their opinions on comments Trump made during a rally last night.
I don't like what the president said last night. I'm the first person to say, I want to hear from Dr. Ford. I thought she was handled respectfully. I thought Kavanaugh was treated like crap. Yeah, well, boo yourself.
The president's comments were just plain wrong.
Immediately after the FBI report is filed, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is expected to move the vote forward. Senators will likely vote on Saturday to confirm Kavanaugh to the Supreme Court.
Tropical storm Rosa drenched parts of the Southwest. Is this any more rain headed our way?
Today is Coffee with a Cop Day. We spoke with local DPS, bridging the gap between officers and the community.
Plus, model and activist Amber Rose speaks to USC students about sexual assault. Coming up.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 5 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Got a quarter? Around the country, police officers are having coffee with people in the community. Annenberg Media's Chu Han-ji talked with officers about a way to reduce tensions between police and residents.
El Segundo residents had a chance to drink coffee and talk with police officers at the Blue Butterfly coffee shop this morning. The National Coffee with a Cup Day gives people the opportunity to see the more human side of officers.
It builds relationships because it shows the community and people that police officers are just that. They are people. They are everyday people that go home to their families, to their kids every night, and it's a way for them to interact with them.
Those police officers here hope they may bridge the gap between them and the general community. This coffee shop is across the street from the police station. Kevin Neighbors is the general manager of the shop. He said hosting this event is a way to support their community.
There's some tension between the police and the people, just from what you see in the news and all that. And so I think that it's important for a place like this, even though it might not be directly in that affected community, it's still good to have a place where people can come and talk to police that they trust and feel safe.
The USC Department of Public Safety hosted a similar event at the Starbucks on Figueroa. Residents were able to grab a coffee and tell officers the problems they may have.
I've seen that it's very positive. I've seen that they're very welcoming. They've obviously had, some concerns to express to us. And it's only in those meetings, or it's only during those positive interactions, that we have an opportunity to find out what are the quality of life issues that we need to be dealing with.
Through a series of short conversations, residents got a chance to meet the people who are working to protect and serve the community. For Annenberg Media, I'm Chu Han-jie.
Today marks the 23rd anniversary of the O.J. Simpson acquittal. A USC professor and a TV reporter who covered the trial say it changed Los Angeles.
How could somebody like this do something like that? And they were wrapped up trying to watch the trial to see, my God, is it true? Did he really do this, or did he not?
Before Black Lives Matter, before many of the racial discussions that we've had in recent times here in the US.
O.J. Simpson has been out of prison for a year now. The retired football player and USC alum now lives in Las Vegas.
Tropical storm has caused severe flooding in the Southwest. The storm originated in Baja California before making its way through Mexico and into Arizona. Phoenix and surrounding areas saw heavy rainfall and flooding as a result. Some residents saw the damage it caused firsthand in their homes. The storm is expected to bring heavy rain to Utah and Nevada later this week. Well, with the rain in Arizona, maybe we'll be lucky and get some.
Hopefully. Sammy, any good news?
Well, I wouldn't say too much flooding is considered good news, but we were expecting to have some rain here today, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of miss it. Reminds me of home, and I was a little disappointed that it got pushed off. So we'll be expecting some rain later tonight, but as of right now, it is cloudy. A comfortable 74 today, so not bad, but not a hint of sun in the sky. Moving on to tomorrow's forecast, again, there's a potential for rain, especially over in the inland area. Big Bear, as usual, a lot colder, 41 Palm Springs, and the other places are also a little bit cooler than usual, 67 to the low 60s by Riverside. Also, the Riverside area and the lakes surrounding this area have issued a flood warning, so the rains coming there are likely to cause damage. If anyone lives in that area, stay safe and potentially evacuate. Moving over to the rest of the place, Thousand Oaks, Northridge,
50s and 60s. Looking over at the rest of the map, again, 50s, 60s, comfortable, and it's actually a little bit warmer in the coastline where Malibu is. In the LA basin, especially USC, 63. Again, keeping it throughout the 60s tomorrow, and again, a slight chance of rain. Moving on to our weekly forecast. We don't have official days where rain is predicted, but a slight chance of rain is expected on Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, with the most likeliness of the rain coming on Monday. Friday should have mostly clear skies, and the temperatures should remain relatively in the 70s. Now that we've entered October, flu season is just around the corner. The average flu season lasts from October to May, typically peaking between December and February. Vaccinations come in the form of either a shot or nasal spray, and the CDC strongly recommends getting vaccinated before the end of October. USC students looking to get vaccinated have several resources available. CVS offers free vaccinations with a bonus $5 coupon, no appointment required. They have locations on Figueroa and one in the USC Village Target. The Engelman Student Health Center also offers flu shots, free for students with USC health insurance, $20 for those without. Flu vaccines take 2 weeks to be fully effective, so it's best to get them sooner rather than later. What about you two? Have you gotten your flu shots yet?
I've actually never gotten a flu shot before in my life, but I know that a lot of the sickness has been going around, so definitely going to get one this year.
Oh boy, yeah, it's time for me to get a flu shot. I don't want to get sick. But you know what? 2 big movies are hitting the box office this weekend, plus a celebrity activist drops by campus to talk about sexual assault.
Buzz reporter Brogan Craner has the latest.
Thanks, Colin and Taylor. In today's entertainment news, Cristiano Ronaldo is denying a rape allegation made against him. The soccer star tweeted this morning, quote, "I firmly deny the accusations being issued against me. Rape is an abominable crime that goes against everything that I am and believe in." The allegations come from a Der Spiegel magazine article published on September 28th that said that Ronaldo raped Catherine Mayorga in June 2009. According to E! News, Ronaldo's lawyers are now taking action against the magazine for, quote, "inadmissible reporting of suspicions in the area of privacy." And speaking of sexual assault, activist and model Amber Rose stopped by USC last night to moderate a panel about this very topic.
We need to teach exactly what consent is. Consent is not a text message from 12 hours before and now the woman is drunk and, you know, you need a hard yes in that moment. And if it's not a hard yes in that moment, then it is rape.
Rose co-moderated the Open Ed Fireside Chat with USC professor Ange-Marie Hancock. Panelists discussed the issues surrounding sexual assault on campuses as well as in our country. Rose runs her own not-for-profit called the Amber Rose Foundation, which is dedicated to women empowerment issues. The foundation will be putting on their 4th annual Slut Walk this Saturday in downtown LA. It is a march that takes a stand against sexual injustice, victim blaming, and derogatory labeling. Also happening this weekend, a battle for the box office. Comic book film Venom and Hollywood remake A Star is Born are both hitting theaters this Friday, and according to Variety, Lady Gaga's Little Monsters may be writing fake reviews of her competition. Twitter users noticed the same exact negative review of Venom posted many times on Twitter by different critics. Comic book fans responded by tweeting praise for Venom and critiques for A Star is Born. Whether you're Team Venom or Team Gaga, it will be a great weekend to go to the movies. Colin and Taylor, back to you.
Well, thank you, Brogan. But you know what? What's going on in sports right now?
Let's toss it to our sports anchor, Angel Viscara.
Thank you very much, folks. Well, it's a big bounce-back week for the #2 ranked USC women's soccer team against the Arizona schools. Also, the #1 ranked USC men's water polo team looks to keep the good times rolling as they head up to Palo Alto this weekend to do battle with Stanford. And finally, we all know the impact LeBron brings to the floor for the Lakers, but what impact will King James bring to the ticket boxes at Staples this season? We'll have more.
Recently, our country has witnessed catastrophic devastation. Hurricanes and flooding have upended lives and livelihoods.
Across this great country, Americans have answered the call.
That special calling that compels us when others are down, to step up and do whatever it takes.
America's at her best when, against all odds, we come together and lift each other up.
Please donate to oneamericaappeal.org. America needs you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Listen.
I realized that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right?
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
And welcome back to ATVN. Last Sunday, the #2 ranked USC women's soccer team dropped its huge contest against #1 ranked Stanford in what was an overtime thriller. But the women of Troy are looking to get things back on track this week. USC will host Arizona at home tomorrow before Arizona State comes to town on Sunday. Freshman forward Penelope Hawking knows USC needs some bounce-back victories this weekend.
No, we just got to take care of business. We learned from Stanford and Cal that we just have to keep the ball, not give it up, and just try to go forward as much as we can and just win the games going forward.
With just 6 matches remaining in conference play, the women of Troy currently sit 3rd in the Pac-12 standings behind Stanford and Washington State. Another team playing host this weekend will be the #12 ranked USC women's volleyball team. The women of Troy will play Oregon State and Oregon at the Galen Center, and head coach Brent Crouch knows that defense will have to be at the heart of their efforts.
Hoping that these 2 matches will be a step forward for us on the defensive side of the ball. I think we just have to keep making that a focal point of our identity, and hopefully we can come away this weekend with that cemented a little more.
Winners of 6 of their last 7 matches, USC has continually climbed in the rankings to now sit 12th nationally. USC is led offensively by hitters Brooke Botkin and Kalia Lanier, both of which are averaging over 4 kills per set this season. 6 of USC's next 8 matches will be played at the Galen Center. And now to the men's side of things, the top-ranked USC water polo team will be taking part in what could be their toughest test of the season. They'll be traveling to Palo Alto this weekend for a contest with the #3 ranked Stanford Cardinal. USC is coming off of a big victory over #5 ranked UC Santa Barbara this weekend. In the Trojans' 16-2 win over the Gauchos Sunday, freshman Hannes Dubai's 4 goals netted him MPSF Player of the Week honors. But now another challenge lies ahead with the Cardinal on Sunday.
This game is like the first big game that we actually have, and it will kind of set the tone for the other big games of the season. Not only that, but Stanford is a very good team.
USC will return to their home pool for a Sunday contest with the San Jose Spartans before participating in the Mountain Pacific Invitational next week. That's it for USC Sports, folks. Now let's toss it over to Cecil Hannibal, who has more for us on the Angelino sports scene. Cecil?
Thanks, Angel. Pro sports in LA is booming. King James is throwing dimes, the Rams are undefeated, and the Dodgers are ready to make a playoff run. Behind home runs from Cody Bellinger and Max Muncy, the LA Dodgers clinched their 6th consecutive NL West title with a win over the Colorado Rockies on Monday. The Dodgers will host the Atlanta Braves tomorrow evening in Game 1 of the National League Division Series. Now moving from the diamond to the hardwood, we all know LeBron James brings life to every team he's played for. More wins, more revenue, but that always comes with a cost. The LeBron James effect is very real, and ticket prices are quickly becoming out of reach.
And the 3 is good. I think it's cool that, that LeBron's here. What's not cool is that I have to spend like a fortune just to see him play.
Lakers ticket prices are through the roof, and USC students are not happy.
We used to get some that were like $80, but now they're like $600, $700. It's crazy.
Ticket prices from last year's home opener to this year's increased by 800%.
Obviously look at tickets, and I can't afford those tickets.
Emil and his entire family have been die-hard Laker fans since they moved from Sri Lanka. Even though he may not be able to afford the same tickets this year, he's just happy to have the king in Southern California.
I think it's going to be great for LA. Even if they're it might be harder for some people to get to games, it's going to be great for the LA economy. It's going to be great for LA basketball.
I'm really excited that he's here because it's good. Now we have a chance to get to the playoffs, maybe get a championship with him. But yeah, I'm really excited.
LeBron and the Lakers are taking on the Sacramento Kings at the Staples Center tomorrow at 7:30. Angel, back to you.
Thanks, Cecil. Well, I'm glad that I'm just going to be at home watching those games instead of paying for tickets.
Definitely. Well, the new list of class schedules is out.
We have a peek at some of the unusual options being offered next spring.
Hey guys, Danny Trejo here. There was going to be a whole song and dance routine about how you should wait your turn to enter the train. But they got me, Danny Trejo, to talk to you instead. Look, when you don't wait your turn to enter the train, it's rude and potentially dangerous. And believe me, I know a thing or two about rude and dangerous. I'm Danny Trejo. Don't be like rude, dude. Be kind, like super kind. Excuse me.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
Registration is coming up and the new schedule for classes for the spring is out. Here are some unusual classes USC has to offer. Corset construction and stage combat are all in the School of Dramatic Arts. Magic, witchcraft, and healing is analysis of medicine, religion, and witches. Space mission and design is about the engineering process of space missions, and in culture of food in Hispanic Los Angeles.
Well, thanks for watching Annenberg Media. From Annenberg TV News, from everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Colin Taylor.
And I'm Taylor Elliott. You can watch us on the web at uscannenbergmedia.com. Good night.